How you doing? My name is Kip Charles, and I am your sales guru. Normally, I would be talking today about business and about advice on how to grow your business, but I really want to talk to the American people today because I've been watching the news all morning, and I've been watching what's going on and with the government bailouts and how these things are really going to affect us, the average American. And really, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you, whoever you are, if you don't fully understand what's going on and what's about to happen, I want you to understand it because it is very important that you know the decision that our leaders are about to make and how that is going to affect you. At the end of the day, let's take a look at the crisis in itself. What happened? You had people, okay, who didn't qualify necessarily to live in homes, and what they did was they basically provided, certain paperwork to mortgage companies who gave them the green light to get away with qualifying, so to speak, for a property that they never would have qualified for. They didn't have the cash, they didn't have the credit. But there were programs put in place to allow these people to actually move into homes that they did not qualify for at the end of the day. Let's just keep it real. They didn't qualify for the homes. But, we wanted people to be able to live the American dream, and so what we did is we put something together for that to happen. Now, the mortgage companies, of course, had an incentive to sell to offer these mortgages out because they got a commission for it. So you have the people who didn't qualify for the homes benefiting, right? They got to move into their dream home. You've got the mortgage companies now benefiting because they're selling more mortgages to people who really don't qualify, but they're making a commission. Now, what happens with those mortgages? Those mortgages are then sold off to investment bankers and other types of institutions who now see a benefit to securitizing those mortgages, meaning they lump all of these mortgages together, they create a security, and what do they do with it? They can actually sell it to someone else. So they create these securities, they package them together, and they sell them off to other institutions. Now, what do these institutions do with this? Well, guess what? They use these securities as a tool to borrow money. It's assets sitting on their books, and they use these assets to borrow money. But what happened? What brought this whole problem on today where the credit has frozen, so to speak, where no one's lending to anyone? Well, what happened was the people who actually were holding these assets on their books and were getting loans against it, one day they went to the window and said, hey, can I get a loan? And the person who was lending, or the institution who was lending to them, said, sorry, we're not going to loan against this type of asset anymore because we're not sure what the thing is worth. So what did they do? They said, well, if you're not going to loan me money, I'm not going to loan the people who are coming to me for money. And then it trickled right back down to guess who? You and me, the middle class, and even the poor. Anyone who actually wanted to get a loan today, the restrictions were so high that it actually crippled credit. So when they ask, who should we blame? Who's at fault? Was it greed? Guess what? It was capitalism running wild, out of control. All that you have, I mean, come on, let us keep it real. Homeowners did not qualify. But mortgage companies found a way to make them qualify. Mortgage companies benefited. Homeowners benefited. Investment banks benefited because they securitized these things and sold them off. So they got huge commissions, huge profit for that. But eventually, someone woke up at the top. Somebody woke up and said, wait a minute, I'm not going to lend against these type of assets anymore. And so when they stopped lending, it trickled down until finally everyone stopped lending. Now, what did that do? Now you have people who are no longer looking for homes because they don't qualify, right? So the demand for homes has slowed down. The supply for homes are increasing, which drives down the price of homes, right? So now you have prices going down on homes, you got supply increasing, and then you have the people, the catalysts, the people who originally started this whole thing by buying homes they couldn't qualify for, right? You have these people who are now sitting in homes that they bought while the market was at the top. So they bought a house for $500,000 that's now today only worth $250,000. What do? You have the middle class whose homes have dropped in value. They can't even get the loans that they're looking for because the the credit score that's required to get a loan has increased substantially because the credit markets have completely frozen. So everybody is paying the price. And I feel really sorry for the middle class because they weren't the ones who originated this. You know, these are people who really could qualify for loans. They weren't the people who decided to give the loans. They were just people who are basically being affected by decisions at the top and at the bottom. They're in the middle. Usually the middle class has to pay for everything. Now, our government has decided to create a vehicle. They think that this is gonna, I don't know if they're saying it's gonna solve the problem, but they're saying it's gonna ease the problem. And you know what? I think it's a good idea. I just want to say I think it's a good idea that they take all of the bad loans, all of them, and what they do is put them in a vehicle, okay? They're gonna buy all of these bad loans, meaning they're gonna release the banks, release these institutions that are holding these assets that they don't even know what it's valued at today. They're going to buy them all back, okay? They're going to buy them from them. They're going to give them money for it, so meaning now they have liquidity. Now they have cash, right? So then, you know, they can start to loan again. But who's paying for it? Who's going to pay for all the bad debt? You and me, America. We're going to pay for it, okay? The middle class is going to pay for it. So now, with that being said, it's not the government that's bailing us out. They've come up with the idea. It's America bailing out America. Okay, America is bailing herself out now, and we're paying for it. But there is a silver lining to this, in my opinion. Okay, if we're going to bail out the institutions who bought all of this bad debt and give them cash so that they can run their businesses again, so that they can be healthy again, I think the American homeowners, the backbone of America, should receive the same type of compensation. How do they do that? Well, guess what? I believe that before Congress approves this creation of the vehicle and the purchasing of all of this bad debt from our banking institutions and from all the financial institutions that currently own it, there should be a requirement. And the requirement should be simply that all of the mortgage banks that currently hold mortgages need to remodify those mortgages to meet the actual present value of the homes today. Meaning, if I bought a home for $500,000 and it's only worth $250,000, guess what? I shouldn't have to pay a mortgage on $500,000. That bank that my taxpayers is bailing out should remodify my mortgage down to $250,000, which will lower my monthly payment and allow me to live. Do you follow what I'm saying? I hope you're catching what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, basically, we're bailing out the major institutions, but we're paying the price. But if we have to pay the price, shouldn't we benefit as well? Absolutely. If I'm going to bail you out, Mr. Institutional Bank, then you need to remodify my mortgage so that I only have to pay a mortgage on what my house is worth today. That way you win and I win. I hope whoever's listening to this that you will share this with your friends, you will share it with your family, you will forward it to as many people as you can. I know that they're going to make a fast decision on this because that's all they're talking about. Get this to Congress today, and let's get Congress to vote on this today. But when Congress makes a decision about creating this vehicle to buy all the debt with our money, our hard-earned money, our tax-paying money, if they make that decision, then guess what? They also need to add something to that. That every bank that's going to benefit from this, that every bank that's going to be dug out of the ditch of debt that we're going to pay for, that we need as well to be able to benefit. How do we benefit? Remodify the mortgages. Remodify the mortgages in America and bring them down to what they're valued to today. Every bank that is bailed out needs to be held to that standard. And that way, we win as well. Not only the institutions, everyone wins. This is Kip Charles, your sales guru. I'm very passionate about this because you know something? The American people have been fleeced long enough. We've been treated as stupid. They talk to us many times like we don't know what's going on. And you know what? I'm not a rocket science. I'm not an economist. I'm not any of the above. This is simple common sense. If I'm going to bail you out, then guess what? What's in it for me? What is the benefit for me? And every American should be asking that. With him, what's in it for me? I say, if you own a home today, your bank, who you are bailing out, should be remodifying your mortgage. and bringing it down to what its current value is, and that is the amount that you should be paying on.